So my nephew really wanted to go see the new Dragon Ball superhero movie. Being a good uncle, I decided to go along with him. He's about 10 years old. He's huge into Dragon Ball right now. I never really watched any Dragon Ball. That's not totally true. I watched 3 episodes of the OG series 3 or 4 years ago while drunk. Everything else I know about Dragon Ball is just through osmosis. So I was going into this movie pretty much knowing not anything about it. This is going to be a spoiler review because I don't really know what is spoiler worthy. I don't know what facts of everything was like already common knowledge beforehand and what is a new revelation. I'd heard people saying Goku was like barely even in the movie, which honestly kind of made me more interested because everything you hear about Dragon Ball is Goku, Vegeta, Frieza. So hearing that this was Piccolo and Gohan, who is Goku's son, focused, made me way more interested. These are characters I know nothing about, so I was kind of pumped. And then I got into the theater and we sit down, and it opens up with like pretty much just like an exposition dump. It was like 3 minutes of them just talking about a bunch of shit. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of word salad. It just washed over my brain. I don't know how important it was, if it was stuff that had already happened or if it was new established stuff. And then it's this like short, tiny guy with a cigar. And he's like, hey, we need to get this other short guy who looks like a little kid, but he's really 24 and a genius out of jail. And it focuses on these characters I'd never seen or heard of for like 15 minutes, and I was like kind of bored. I was like, I don't care about any of this. The kid from jail, he's like obsessed with superheroes, so they like gaslight him into making androids to kill the heroes, the real heroes like Goku and everybody. And then it's a flash forward and it's Piccolo. I'm like, oh, this is cool, this is a character I know. And he's training with this little girl who I guess is Gohan's daughter. I'm gonna say she is like the best part of the movie. I loved her. I think her name was Pam or something. She rules. She was adorable. I actually love her and Piccolo's relationship the most. It's a really tired trope of like, you know, hard and older buff guy and cute little child, right? But it works. So he's training her. She's fucking awesome. And then he goes to Gohan. He's like, hey, train, bitch. And Gohan's like, no. A big thing about this movie is that it is CGI. Like, the whole movie is CGI. It's not 2D animation, which I was like, is this even going to look good? And the answer to that question is kind of. I'd say the animation is really inconsistent in this movie. There are times when just the animation is like absolutely jaw-dropping, fantastic action, really expressive. I think CGI and anime gets a really bad rep, but when it's done well, it opens up a lot of possibilities. There's so much more crazy, like, you know, 3D environments and camera angles. It just really opens up a lot of possibilities. And it was used well, probably like 70% of the movie. And then the other 30% is like kind of butt ugly. So it was really inconsistent, but I think it worked out pretty well. The music was also really good in this movie. I'm not gonna lie, I did see this movie in a cinema cafe, which has the most dog shit speaker system I've ever heard in my life. So the mixing was dog shit, and that kind of weakened the impact on a lot of the fights. The fights, I guess I'll talk about the fights. That's like the most important thing in Dragon Ball, right? Like, the first big fight is like totally kind of a non sequitur. It's Goku and Vegeta training, and I did not give a fuck about this. This felt like pure fan service just to get people into the theater, to be honest. Broly is there, and I guess people like really like Broly. He's a big deal. I thought he was probably dead or something. I don't know. He was the bad guy in the last movie, I thought. But Broly didn't do anything. He just sat there and watched Goku and Vegeta fight. And none of this mattered. It like their fight wasn't even like good to me. I didn't care. It felt like filler, honestly. But the whole point of this was to establish that they are away while the big threat happens. It's like some red army trying to take over the world, and Piccolo finds out because this really cool guy, Gamma, who's like this android guy, and whenever he hits people, it's like boom, sound effects, but they're holograms because like he was designed by this like little fucking weeb who loves anime and superheroes. And Piccolo follows him back to this base, and their plan was I don't know. The plot wasn't like extensive. They were like, we want to kill the good guys and take over the world, and that's like pretty much their goal. So Piccolo's like, I'm going to help the bad guys. Actually, I'm going to help them kidnap Gohan's daughter, which I thought was like kind of fucked up. Personally, if I was Gohan and someone like and my friend, I think he's like the daughter Pan's like godfather or something. It seemed kind of like that in a relationship. If they kidnapped my daughter, I would probably like cut them out of my life. That being said, I did like Piccolo. And the scene where they are, you know, doing the kidnapping of Pan was fire. It's probably like one of the best sequences in the movie. That little girl just really stole the show every time she showed up, honestly. And Piccolo's like, I gotta get stronger. So he goes to the Dragon Balls, and Bulma's there. And I hate Bulma, dude. Like, in the 3 episodes of OG Dragon Ball that I watched shit-faced a few years back, I liked her. She was like fiery and spicy and like full of personality. But in this movie, she fucking sucked, dude. Every time she opened her mouth, she was like, I'm using the Dragon Balls to give me a Brazilian butt lift and make my eyelashes longer. And I was like, I don't care about any of this. And Piccolo was like, I could just wish that this, you know, threat would cease to exist, but my pride is too big, which is stupid. And it exists just so that there can be cool fights. And I'm not even going to complain about that because who cares, right? So he kidnaps Gohan's daughter and Gohan shows up. And he's fucking pissed. And he's fighting these android guys. And this is the best fight in the movie. Like, the android guys are cool. They're oozing in personality, right? Gohan thinks his daughter's in danger. And he's just like, he's freaking the fuck out. I actually really love this. Because Gohan's not a fighter. He's kind of goofy. But he's being forced to put into this serious situation. And just really step up. And then Piccolo gets in there and is taking on the other guy. The animation here was peak. There was some good quips, good humor, great action. This was the highlight of the movie. And then the androids and the guy who made them, they were like, actually, we're doing evil shit. I don't like that. We should not be doing evil stuff, huh? But then the guy who made the guy make the androids was like, okay, well, I'm gonna unleash Cell Max. Cell Max. I'm like, okay, I know Cell. That's like a fan favorite character, right? Cell Max in this movie is total dog shit. He's like the final villain. I could not give less of a fuck about this guy. I don't know anything about like the original Cell, but this dude, like, he had a cool design and he's like big. He's like 30 feet tall, which made for a cool dynamic fight, you know? But he has like no personality. He doesn't say anything. There's some cool like action going on, but it just lacked any importance to me like the Gamma guys had. It felt like this was inserted so people that know Cell from their childhoods could be like, oh my god, it's Cell. But like nothing in the movie really justifies this being cool or important or epic. It felt like total fan service, basically. I was not impressed. And then all these other people show up. Like, I knew one of them, Krillin. I liked Krillin. I really liked Krillin in this movie. He was funny as fuck. But also he was a cop, so fuck the police, fuck Krillin. And then there were these 2 guys, and they were like, how do we do that thing again? What's it called? A fusion? Let's fuse. And then they like turn into this like little fat fuck who's useless. He like rips his pants open and his asshole is hanging out. Like his big fat juicy ass is hanging out of his pants. And my mom, she loved that. She was dying laughing. She was like crying laughing in the theaters every time it showed this guy's ass. Bulma was wishing for a BBL every day, but she could not compete with this man. And like everyone fucking kicks him around like a fucking pinball and hits him into like Cell Max's head. And cracks his head, and then they're like, we need to hit him in the head again. And one of the android guys is like, bet I got this. And he's like, crashes down into his head from outer space and kills himself. And then Piccolo's like, I can turn orange. I'm Orange Piccolo, which is a dog shit name. That shit was trash and stupid. I didn't mind the design. I thought the design was kind of cool, but Orange Piccolo, I mean, it's very literal. It's stupid. It's stupid. I don't know if it was supposed to be funny, but it was dumb. And then they were like, Piccolo, remember that you could make yourself 30 feet tall? He's like, oh yeah, I forgot. And he does that. And then he's actually like, this is actually useless. It doesn't make me stronger. Okay. But it made the fight kind of cooler, I guess. So that happens. And Cell Max is fucking everyone up. And Piccolo's like, I'm going to distract him. You got to kill him. And it's like, it does a fake out death with Piccolo. And I was like, why should I even care though? Because like they established that the Dragon Balls are so trivial. At this point, like, Bulma is literally up there, like, every day, like, saying, make my ass fat, you know? So if anyone dies or there's, like, any mass casualties, like, simply wish them back. Another thing, this is, like, out of sequence, but I just remembered it. At the beginning of the movie, which, like, was just washing over my brain because it was boring and dumb, the main antagonist guy, he's like, I think that Bulma's actually hiding aliens. And I'm like, is that a secret? Because, like, Piccolo is, like, just flying, like, through the streets, like in between cars and shit. He's like, I think it's alien technology she's got, actually. I don't know shit about this world, but they're flying all over the place. They're like talking animals and shit. So I don't see why there was like racism against these aliens. I think it was just like kind of a ploy to try and gaslight this guy into making androids for him or something. I don't know. I think that would probably be cool if it like had been expanded upon much, but it was kind of just a throwaway line, to be honest. Anyway, so they defeat Cell, and there was one casualty, one of these new guys, these new androids, Gamma 2, the cool one, the one that like everyone likes, the fun one. And then Gohan's daughter is just like flying around, and then it just like ends. It like was a really abrupt ending to me. It felt like I don't know. It just felt like they were like, okay, it's over, and then it was over. And I was left really wanting more, especially because I felt like the movie peaked like 2/3 in with that Gamma 1 and 2 versus Gohan and Piccolo. That shit was peak. That shit was great. The Cell Max shit really just pissed me off. And I actually said this to my friend who is a Dragon Ball fan, and he was like, yeah, I agree 100%. It was wasted. It was stupid. So anyways, after we left the theater, I asked my nephew how he felt about it. He liked it. He really loved it. I think he probably was expecting more Goku, but he enjoyed it. So there was a mother there who was like she was almost crying. She was probably in her mid-30s. And she was like, did you guys think that Broly should fight more? And I was like, huh? Because Broly's in the movie. He just sits there. He literally just does nothing. And she was like, don't you think he should maybe fight more? It feels like the movie took away my joy. And I was like, I don't know. And then her son comes out of the bathroom and she asks him. And he's like, Mom, if Broly fought, he would have just killed everybody. He couldn't fight. And she was like, but I wanted to see Broly. And they both had a really good time. The mom was like obviously disappointed. I guess Broly was her fave, so she was a little disappointed, but it was really wholesome that those two could come together and go and see this movie and have such a good time. I love that for them. Anyways, this movie was fine. The Gamma shit was dope. I liked Piccolo. I liked Pan. I liked Gohan's daughter. And Gohan was pretty cool too, I guess. I didn't really care about anyone besides those like 5 characters. And the story was like nothing to me. But there was some decent action, even though the climax was a letdown. I kind of enjoyed it, to be honest. I would probably give this movie like a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. And if I was a Dragon Ball fan going into this, especially if I was like a Piccolo or a Gohan fan, I probably would have been like, shit, that shit was tight. But I was just like, nah, it was pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of has me interested in Dragon Ball. I kind of want to maybe dive back into that original Dragon Ball series at this point. It's kind of piqued my interest. It's kind of sitting in my mind. And that's my thoughts on the Dragon Ball superhero film as someone who doesn't know anything about Dragon Ball. Thanks for watching. If you liked this, I have a second channel where I stream several times a week called BFL Games. There's a link to that in the description, and on this channel I do reaction videos. Maybe one day I'll react to Dragon Ball, who knows, dude, I don't know. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time, and until then, peace.